This is another special Toronto FC HQ presented by Kia, and I am Gareth Wheeler. The countdown is on. MLS Cup final comes Saturday. It's within touching distance. And now that we're here midweek on a Wednesday, that means one thing: the international media circus has rolled into town. Coming along with it are various commitments, questions, and all kinds of nonsense, but the team remarkably loose. This team's light, they seem rather focused. They're not overawed by anything that's come their way this week, nor will come their way in the lead up to Saturday's matchup against the Seattle Sounders. And a lot of that comes from the coaching staff. Greg Vanney, been there, done that before, ensuring his team remains loose ahead of Saturday's final.
For us, a day like today was a little bit about relaxing, enjoying it. Having a little bit of fun on the field. At the same time, we had to work on a few things, but it's hard in this week to stay hyper-focused for every single day and then be hyper-focused on the day of the game. I think there's, for our group where we've done a lot over the course of the year, it's also to enjoy this moment and to be able to step on the field with a good looseness that you're able to play, but obviously everybody very locked in on what their responsibilities are. But with each experience, you gain a little bit of knowledge as you approach this this game.
Last year's Cup final goes a long way to putting Toronto FC in the right state of mind. It also certainly helps that they're playing a familiar foe. The Seattle Sounders are a team, they know how they play. They know their players very, very well. But this time around, Seattle has much more to offer from an attacking perspective. For comparison's sake, last year's starting 11 in the MLS Cup final, Seattle had 29 combined goals on the season within their team selection. For this year, potentially they'll have 40 goals at their disposal, and that's if they keep Jordan Morris and Victor Rodriguez, two very good attacking players, out of the starting 11. A lot of that comes from a player like Clint Dempsey, bringing bags of goals and lots of experience, as well as Will Bruin up front as well. But a massive storyline ahead of this game is just how good Toronto FC has been defensively over the course of the year. It's perhaps unfair that Seattle's getting all the acclaim, considering they haven't given up a goal in their last 6 games, but in 3 of those matchups, the opponent had a player sent off. So I'll take that with a grain of salt to a certain degree, but for TFC, their record speaks volumes. The second best defensive record on the regular season, just giving up 37 goals, and 15 of those, just 15, coming at home at BMO Field. There are plenty of unsung heroes within the defensive unit of this Toronto FC team that oftentimes don't get the headlines because of how much really good attacking talent Toronto FC has in the team.
We don't like to be talked about in the back. Usually if we're talked about, it's not a good thing, but you look at somebody like Chris Mavinga, I think he's been as good a defender in MLS this season as anybody, and Alex Bono has been huge in goal for us, and that's just a couple. But
we have a lot of guys out there that put the team ahead of everything else, and when you have selfless guys that make plays for your teammates, your defense is going to be good.
It really makes for an even more compelling matchup this time around, with both sides improved defensively as well as from an attacking perspective. Consider this: Toronto FC didn't have Victor Vasquez last year. Marky Delgado wasn't in the team, and both players able and willing to open up a back line. So it's very unlikely we'll see the game go 120 minutes without a goal being scored. But, and it's a big but, if it goes to a penalty shootout, Toronto FC, been there, done that before. Drew Moore was one of the players who took a penalty last time around, and he kind of relived the decision-making process, which led him to taking a successful kick.
I remember with about 3 minutes to go in overtime, I kind of looked around the field and I thought I might be in the top 5 in the penalties. And Greg came up to me and said, "Hey, are you ready to take a penalty?" And I said, "Ask around a little bit." And he kind of looked around, walked around for about 30 seconds, didn't say a word to anybody, and came back up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to take a penalty?" And I said, "Sure, I'll take one." So if I have to, I'll plan on stepping up and taking another one.
Many of the questions coming from the non-soccer media Wednesday had all to do about the weather. The cold, let's be clear, will not bother Toronto FC. Soccer's played in cold weather conditions across the world. It doesn't bother players. And as for the snow, or the potential for snow, don't worry about that either. The field is heated at BMO Field, and unless there is a blizzard type conditions or a massive storm comes in, then the field should be just fine, where accumulation will be a non-factor. It's only windy conditions which really throw a curveball for the players, which is much more difficult to play in. So bundle up come Saturday. Toronto FC needs you. It's phenomenal support. You really do make a difference. The players continue to rave about the support they get at home, and having home field advantage could pay dividends come this MLS Cup final.
Man, they've been incredible all year, and I know they're going to be incredible again on Saturday. It's going to be a packed house, a great atmosphere, and they're going to push us on to the championship.
Yeah, we always ask for support from this crowd, and they always respond. BMO, ever since I've come here in 2007, has been a tough place to come and play for opponents, and to have another cup final at home, we need to feed off the crowd, and we need to get them into it early. Whether it's a goal, an early shot, an early chance, an early tackle, get them going, because when they get going, which is just about every game, they can be a huge confidence boost for us.
On Thursday, it's the press conferences featuring both sides' managers and top players. We'll be streaming it live for you on torontofc.ca and YouTube starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're looking forward to bringing you that. And the countdown really and truly is on. Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. As if you need a reminder, you can watch on TSN, listen on Sportsnet, the Fan 5 Network.